Welcome to the Imperfect Dads podcast. This is your host, Devin. We believe dads care deeply about their family and kids, but they don't always have a space to discuss what their life looks like. Our podcast is a space for dads to discuss the ups and downs of fatherhood and how they feel like they're holding it together or how they're not. Thank you for joining us for this episode. This podcast is part of the Never a Face Network. Make sure to follow them on Instagram or go to the website neverafacenetwork.com. On this episode, we have on Jon Chase, who has spent his time either doing artwork, art design, or consulting people with their businesses. We talked about his daughter getting into the emo hardcore music scene, going to shows with his kids, going from a corporate job to self-employed, being burnt out, learning meditation rituals, realizing you're not fun when you're stressed, his midlife crisis moment, thrifting for books, our shared love of music, former music connections making his kids think he's a cool dad, and how he helps companies as a consultant. Also, if you want to hook Jon up with some My Chemical Romance tickets this summer, it sounds like his daughter's eager to see them as many times as she can, and you'd help him look like an even cooler dad. Just like one more thing.
Dad, just start the episode.
Oh, my bad. Hey, Jon, welcome to an episode of The Imperfect Dads. I really appreciate it.
Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. First, most basic question I usually ask a guest is how many kids you got, ages, all that good stuff.
I got two, a 15-year-old and a 13-year-old.
Man,
So,
what's it like to have two teenagers?
very difficult. So I had kids later in life. All my
Okay.
friends had their kids, like I would say, I don't want to say normal, but more traditional timeline. So all my friends, their kids are all grown up and they have grandkids. So
What?
yeah, so it's a little bit different. So like I've talked to my friends and they don't remember like what it was
Yeah,
like having
nothing.
teenagers because they have adult kids. And
Yeah.
so it's cool. I'm kind of glad I decided to find the perfect person for me to be with to raise these kids and have them later in life because I don't know if I could have done it when I was younger.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have figured it out, but I think it would have been
Yeah.
way harder. I wouldn't have had as much patience as I have
Yeah.
now,
Yeah.
which is something you have to learn when you have kids.
You do.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
We had our first kid. So I have three kids. I have a 10-year-old, 8-year-old, and 4-year-old. And we had our first kid whenever we were 28. And even that, like for our friend group, because we lived in the South at the time, we were late to the game to have kids. So it's always interesting to look at like your ecosystem or your friend group and be like, hey, here's whenever we were ready. And then like, yeah, I have friends whose kids are already in high school and like about to go to college. And I'm like, I'm glad that was your phase of life, but we were not ready at like 25. It's weird that like we got married at 25, we weren't ready to have kids, but by 28 we were, and how like 3 or 4 years here and there can make a difference.
Yeah. It just shows you where you're at in your life. Of like, if you did everything you wanted to do earlier on, then settling down, understanding when you have a family, things do have to change. I mean, some people are like, nah, it's going to be going out all the time. I'm like, yeah, that's not going to work out real well. But anyways.
Well, that implies to me that you took fatherhood seriously, or you were like, oh, I want to make sure like I've got my partner and I are on the same page, and I'm in a phase of life in which like I'd be willing to not go out to the bar, not go to the concert, or have that take a pause for a little bit while I focus on family more.
Well, to be honest, so my wife and I had like, when we met, she was going to school. She's a nurse. She's been a nurse for like 19 years now, right? And like, okay, cool, do your thing. I'm doing my thing, which at this point, I didn't have a traditional career path. So I was the art director for a company called Famous Stars and Straps.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just Travis Barker's company.
Cool.
So
Yeah.
that's how I got started. That's when I met her. So we were both doing this and we had a lot of fun when we first got together. So by the time we decided to get married and have kids later on, we kind of did everything we wanted to do. So we kind of just like, okay, we can do this and it's not a big deal. So
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. It is. What about how old were you whenever you decided like, oh, hey, I actually do want to settle down, start a family and all that?
When we started having kids, I was 38.
Okay. Yeah.
So it wasn't that bad. But when my daughter was born, I was 40. So, and all my other friends, like, they were like, yeah, we've already done all this. So, but it wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad, but it was really cool to have, I don't know. I just like, it was the right time for us.
Yes, I get it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But also, I can totally relate to your friends being like, if they had teenagers and you're like, oh, do you remember newborn phase? Being like, no, I don't. I don't at
No.
all.
Like, I'm glad I shot a lot of photos and videos because I don't remember them now being little. I remember the dual stroller
Yeah.
and going to, like, Disneyland and stuff like that and fighting with that, and then, and now when I see other people do it, I'm like, "Don't worry, it won't last that long," or, like, car
Yeah.
seats or booster seats, but, like, I have to watch those my wife and I will watch the videos and photos all the time because like, we
Yeah.
don't remember how, like, little their voices were.
No.
Now they're just in the grunting phase and just walking away and being upset and just being like, "Whatever," and like, "What's going on?" "Nothing," and then just
Yeah.
that, "Okay," like, "Okay," and I have to remember, it was a long time ago for me, but I still remember, like, that's just how it is. Like, don't worry, they'll come around, like, in maybe 5 more years, they'll come around, it'll be cool.
You watch videos to remind yourself that your kids do know full sentences. That's basically what you do it for.
Yeah, 100%, because you just, like some days you're like, "Dude, who are my roommates? I don't remember,
Yeah.
like, interviewing these people," but
They've been behind on rent also for years now. They're really not pulling their weight here.
yeah, but I mean, it's fine. It's just
Yeah.
very interesting because I had to do a bunch of stuff when I was growing up, and that's just how it was. My wife's a little bit different, like, she's just concerned about the kids doing really well in school.
Yeah.
Like, if they're doing great in school, they're all honor roll kids,
Awesome.
they're doing great. Like, my son's doing college while he's a freshman in high school, so
Yeah.
he's going in the medical field like his mom, so it's really cool, but that's all she focuses on. I'm just like, "Don't be horrible don't be horrible people when you grow up." That's what we both want, but she focused
Yes.
more on the school. I'm more like,
Yes, of
"Just be a
course.
nice person.
Yep.
Just be nice." Like, that's it,
Yep.
and they're both really good at that, which is good, but it is definitely this is that moment where, like, "Okay, they're getting older, we can go do stuff now."
Yeah.
So we do, but it's just we almost have guilt still at this point,
Uh-huh.
even
Yeah.
though we're getting past it, but yeah, it's
Yeah.
fun. It's
It
fun.
is. I'm also in the same like marriage relationship scenario where like my wife did like I mean had like a 4.0 in grad school, very accomplished, very career focused, very like what's the next goal? I'm gonna work, I'm gonna figure out how to get there, and I'm gonna be the best at everything. And I'm like, but were you a good hang? Were you a good vibe? Like how was that? And she's like, so we need to have both. And I'm like, okay, yeah, cool, cool, cool. So that's good. That's good. Good to remember. Good to remember.
I w Yeah, but you complement each other.
You do, yes, very much
Yeah,
so.
see, that's what
Yes.
you have to finding that perfect person you can do that
Hmm.
with, where you, like, fit together like a puzzle is pretty
Yeah.
rare because you see people like, "That probably ain't gonna work out real well in the long term." But anyways,
Yes.
not talking about
Well,
other people, but yeah.
no, of course. Yeah, they like, oh, whenever your kids leave the house, who are you going to be? And I'm like, Devin, you are judging the hell out of this couple. You don't know what their small, intimate moments are like. Calm down, man.
Yeah, exactly. I will say I am excited about my kids being teenagers in the fact that I can share a lot of their interests and their hobbies,
Hmm.
which I'm really kind of because I look back at my parents and they didn't.
Yeah.
Like, my son's heavily into gaming and he's
Hmm.
getting into a little bit of music. Even though he's older, he's like 15.
Yeah.
He's like, so, but because I still play games. And
Yeah.
then the music, I'm like, okay, he's like into like indie pop, bedroom pop stuff.
Okay.
And it's pretty rad because I'm like, oh, I like listen to, like, oh, it's not too far off what I listen to sometimes also,
Yeah.
which is cool. But my youngest, my daughter is heavily into like she got into hardcore and screamo and emo and
Cool.
like
Yeah.
she's like definitely gravitating to it. So we go to shows together. I took her to a hardcore emo metalcore show, and it
That's
was like,
cool.
and I haven't been to a show like that in I don't know 30
Yeah.
years.
Yep.
So I had to just keep. It was all ages. I had to be the oldest person in the room. They didn't want to let me in. The kids at the door like maybe 17 didn't
Yeah.
want to let me in, and I just had to like watch for spin kicks.
Yep.
And she went off to the front of the stage, which is crazy because the kids don't do anything in front of the stage. They just stand in front of the stage,
Yeah.
but then everything happens in the middle to the back of the room,
Hmm.
which maybe I just was never paying attention. But anyway, she was taking photos, enjoying it, just like, just make sure you just do this. Make sure you
Yeah.
just,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Don't
make
get
sure
a
you're,
black eye. Yeah.
yeah, your first show because your mom will probably get bummed if I bring it back. But it was cool. But yeah, so we go to record stores and go digging for stuff. So that's really fun. So having that with them is cool because my parents didn't have that
No.
with me.
No.
So
I think, yeah, because my parents, like, I'm one of three kids. I'm the one who played like musical instruments or stuck with playing guitar and stuff. And like my parents listen to a lot of music, but they're not musical. So they more were like,
Mm.
hey, we'll try to get you into the spaces where you can do this, but like we don't know what we're doing here. Or like, yeah, if my kids want to go to a concert, I'm like, I've been going to concerts like consistently for like my entire life. So like if we're there, I know what etiquette is, I know what this all looks like, and I feel like I can be a guide for them and not just drop them off at the show and pick them up like an hour later.
Which is crazy because there was a lot of kids there. That's what their
Yeah.
parents were doing. They didn't even hang out.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure the kids didn't want their parents there. I
Hmm.
get it. It's their they built that community. That's for
Yep.
them to go there, and I get it. But I'm not leaving my
Nope.
12-year-old
Nope.
first
Not
time.
doing that. Not doing that. Not
Not
doing
doing
that.
it.
Not doing it.
So,
Nope.
yeah. So I'm not doing it, but
Yeah.
it's pretty rad. And
Yeah.
she's picked up musical and she plays guitar. She just borrowed a bass from the neighbor. So she's exploring that whole scene, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah. That's cool. What's here's a question I like to ask married couples. What is like if there is a band that's playing in town? Is there any musician or anything like that where you're like, okay, it's worth it to get the sitter, it's worth it to go see this person because you and your wife love seeing that artist play so much? Is there any band like that where you're always like, they're in town, we're gonna go see them?
So my wife and I, we have very varied musical taste. We find stuff in
Yes.
the middle,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
cool.
Yep.
Let's see. The last band we saw Krungbin
Okay.
at
Yeah.
Hollywood Bowl, real mellow. We saw Foo Fighters,
Yeah.
and then what else? She loves Glass Animals. I've never really listened to them, but I saw them. That's very, I guess it's European electro pop. I don't even know how to. I hate
Yeah.
using
Right.
labels
Yeah.
for things, but it's definitely something she's into. But she listens to a lot of like top 40 stuff. If that really
Okay.
even is a
Yeah.
genre anymore. But
Yep.
what would be if there was a radio, that kind of stuff. I think that's pretty much it. We were gonna go see the Sacred Souls recently. I bought
Hmm.
tickets, and we end up having to. It sounded like a good idea to drive to San Diego, which is like 2 hours away. But when
Okay.
it was like a Thursday night, and we got to be Thursday morning. We're like, you know what doesn't sound like fun right now? Sit in the car and then
This whole
driving back.
adventure. Yeah.
Yeah, so I sold
Yeah.
the tickets and right away, which is actually lucky. So
Yeah. That's
there's a
awesome.
couple. It's a couple, but yeah, we have a lot of my daughter and I probably align the most in the music.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, which is
Yep.
okay. So
Commonly, like my wife will be like, I'm a nighttime person. Like whenever it gets to be like 8 or 9 p.m., I get like a second wind and happy to stay up late. So I will commonly go to shows by myself because my wife is like, yeah, you're gonna go watch some punk rock, pop punk band play. I'm good. I'm gonna stay home with the kids. So you have fun doing that. I'll be over here.
which is fine because there's nothing worse than forcing yourself to go to a show and you have no energy and it's a high energy environment. Unless you go to a show and a bunch of like I don't want to say old heads, but older
Yeah.
people are
Yeah.
more mellow, and you can be like, all
Yeah.
right, cool, this is fine. Like
Yeah.
you know,
Yep. As I get older and listen to more Americana and like Dawes and Jason Isbell, I understand it's because if there's a pit, I'm like, it looks like a lot of work.
well,
I'm
yeah,
good.
and you're also like, do I feel like being sore for the next couple days?
I don't.
Yeah, see, so that's fine. And I'm also not mad. I
Right?
understand. When I used to go to shows like that, I was mad. But I also
Yeah.
would go to like goth shows and like I'll be the only
Yeah.
guy not dressed like everybody else. I would just dress
Mhm.
like how I normally dress and be hanging out at the
Yeah.
shows because my friends are into that stuff. I'm like, all right,
Yeah.
cool. So, and you don't see people usually get too crazy at a goth show. But anyways,
No.
but
I
I don't know. It's
yeah.
fun.
I listen to The National a lot. Like The National is my favorite, like sad dad music. And it's always fun. So like you just kind of stand in the crowd and zone out. But like you don't like there's one time someone started to try like move a lot and I'm like, what are you doing here? He's singing a song about loneliness and isolation. Like I'm glad it connects with you, but like come on. We're here to be sad together, okay?
Well, I think it's good that you have that outlet where you can go somewhere and zone out because
Yeah.
I think that's a lot of people don't talk about is that, man, everyone talks about moms and moms they carry kids. There's a lot of stuff that we will never know.
Correct.
But man, sometimes being a dad sucks.
Yeah. Yep.
It just does. I mean,
Yeah.
there's nothing. It's that gig. It's like being a parent. It doesn't matter. It's that gig that you get. They don't give you a manual. You kind of
Mhm.
have to figure it out. Sometimes other people around you won't even tell you, like help you out. They're like, you just need to find out for yourself. But it's the most rewarding thing at the same time. It can
Yeah.
be, but it's also the most soul crushing thing in the
Yeah.
exact same breath.
Pretty much. What do you do? Because I think a lot of that is like knowing the moments in which like you hopefully can step away and recenter a little bit. Do you have the ability to do that where, like, if you had a rough day, you feel like you're not getting along with your kids or wife, do you have do you know how to like step away, recenter, then come back refreshed? Have you learned that skill yet? Because I sometimes feel like I do, sometimes I don't.
I have that before. I would have corporate gigs yeah. I would work
Yeah.
for companies that are super high stress and I would have a long commute and I would use
Yeah.
that hour and a half to 2 hours of driving to get back
Yeah.
to do that. But then in the last 4 years, I left that world and have my own like consulting gig that I
Mhm.
do. So I have a 1 minute commute to my studio behind my garage. So
Okay.
I don't
Yeah.
get that. So I have to find that moment to be that way. But I found a new ritual because I'm heavy into rituals
Yeah. That's
that
great.
helped me out a lot. And I'm just gonna sidestep this tangent real quick and
Please.
share this. I just went through my midlife crisis.
Yeah. How is it?
That was gnarly because I was so mad for like 2, 3 months, like the
Okay.
end of last year, beginning of this year. I was like so just mad about everything. I just didn't know why. I was like, and then I like snapped on one of the kids over nothing. And
Yeah.
then we got home. My wife just like kicked me out of the car. It's like, you need to go get tattooed, or you need to go work on one of your cars, or do whatever you need to do to figure out what's wrong with you right now.
Yeah.
And I just sat in here for like 4 hours and I just realized it. Like, I'm turning 53 in a couple months. There's not going to be 53 more years. I'm on the backside of my life. What am I doing? I didn't accomplish anything, but it's crazy because I'm sitting there just going down. Like, I didn't want to get a Corvette and go wear Monarchs and go get a girlfriend half my age. I was
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
realizing, like, this is it. Like, this is the coasting down the hill, hopefully, not just crashing, but like coasting down the hill gracefully. But
Yeah. Right.
this was it for me. And I was like, dude, I have to and once I like realized that within 4 hours, after months and months of being so mad, I was like, oh, this is it. No one tells you about this one. It's always a joke. Like, so after that 4 hours, I went and talked to her. Yeah, this is what's going on. She's like, okay, cool. I was like, all right, cool. So my new ritual is, um, I get up in the morning. I usually get up around 6, and then I go outside and look at sunshine. I don't look at my phone. I like read a little bit of a book. I kinda just enjoy listening to birds, and this is, like, within, like, maybe 5 to 10 minutes of my morning, and this totally for me,
Yeah.
had made me transform my life into being, like, just anxiety, like, all the time, but I think I
Hmm.
realized, like, "Okay, this is what makes me mellow," and I just try and keep that because it's hard when you have life and bills and just crazy stuff happening, and then kids and why like, relationship and everything, so for
Yeah.
me now, it's like starting slow in the morning and just being happy for what I have. And like when I was really beating myself up saying like I didn't accomplish anything, I got everything I wanted to do. I accomplished all the things I set out to do. I still have more goals, but I was like so down on myself, like nothing. I did nothing.
Yeah.
But like I have people that I brought into this world, people I want to be with.
Hmm.
That's a huge accomplishment. Not everyone can say that,
Yeah.
and
It is.
appreciate those things.
Yeah. Do you do meditation at all, or is it kind of like a daily meditation? Is what that sounds like.
I still do it because I have a really like I said previous, I had really stressful
Yeah.
career for the last
Hmm.
23
Yep.
years,
Yep.
working in different spaces, and I'd had to learn to, like, do that, meditation, breath work, because I would be a complete nightmare, basket
Yeah.
case.
Hmm.
So I
Yep.
have to do that still. But right now, I
Yeah.
feel like I just do it like, "Oh, I need to, like, just, like, zone in a little bit." I just do
Hmm.
it now. I don't do it so much like, "I think I'm gonna have a heart attack." Like, it's like that, like, changing that. Not everyone can have that. I shouldn't say, like, it's not everyone's not in a position in their life when they can have those
Yes.
moments because they have to find that. You
Yeah.
can't force someone. They have to be willing to find that space inside themselves to do that. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So, yeah,
Cool.
I do that. I have to just because, like, everything could be going great, and then once one of the kids walks through the door and they're just, like, blows the whole spot up, you're like, "Ugh." It's just like then something else could happen, you're like, "It's just."
Yeah.
But yeah, I've
Yeah.
got that under control now. It took
Cool.
me a long time. I'm not
Hmm.
gonna lie. There was
It
times I'm
does.
like, I was horrible. I was horrible at it. I
Yeah.
had to
Yeah.
like literally stop to look at it and be like, "Okay, this you can't be miserable your whole life." I know people who are,
Me too.
and it sucks.
It
And
does.
I'm not saying every day is PMA, but I try to do as best I can every day.
Well, I think it feels like as if someone just like kind of pushes a boulder down a hill and you're standing against the boulder trying to stop it. And you're just like, sometimes like that, it's a lot of inertia to stop. And yeah, like if working a corporate job, working a job where like you've got maybe a board of to like respond to, you've got people under you and you've got all this stimulation constantly and these needs that need to meet constantly. And in some of those gigs, no matter how you meet the need, no one's freaking happy with you. So if you spend 8 or 9 hours of your day doing that, then you go home and your kid is also like, hey, did you do this yet? You're like, oh, I can't do anything. And you're like, calm it down. That's not truth. Take a breath. You'll be okay. Figure this out.
Yeah, but some people aren't equipped to it, or they're just so gone, they're so burned. They're
Yep.
like, "Yeah, the world, it's just over. Every day's
Yeah.
it's the end of the day. Like, it's the
Yeah.
end of the world." So,
Well, also, like, I know a lot of us grew up with parents where, like, they would work that high level stress of a job because they wanted to provide for their family. And they didn't have like a hobby to get lost and they didn't have a way to detach. So they would just come home and be mad because of their day. And I know lots of people where they're like, oh, yeah, my dad was always angry because he had to deal with so much at work. When he came home, he was still in that mode. And I'm like, oh, I never want to be that dad to my kids. So if I can avoid that in some way, then I feel like that'd be phenomenal.
yes, my dad was the same way. Nothing
Yeah.
wrong with it. That's just
No.
how it was, and they learned that from their parents. Like,
Yep.
that's just it. You're just mad,
Yep.
and you sit on the couch, and just
Yep.
it's like Married with Children, like real
Yep.
life.
Yep.
And I never understood why, like, when friends would come over, he would get so mad.
Mhm.
But I guess he was just like one more person in
Correct.
this
Yeah.
house.
Yep. Yep.
So, and I never wanted to be that way also, and I think that's why I went a different career path than what
Yeah.
normally would be,
Yeah.
and I think that's kind of just being like, "Yeah, man, I don't wanna, like, never," and I'm not knocking anybody. I just
No, no,
never
no.
wanted to
It's
be.
reality. It's reality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never wanted to be that guy wearing a polo tucked in, like, you know, that wasn't
Yeah.
my goal. I didn't
Yeah.
wanna sit. But that's everyone has a decision to make, and that's what they wanna do, and some people, it's like, that's not, they go to work to go make money, to go do things, and they just shut it off, and then I kinda am jealous of those people, though. They go to work, they come home, they shut it off, and on the weekends, they don't think about it.
Yeah.
Like, that's
Yeah.
kind of like, wow, that's kinda rad.
It is. I think the assumption I have is like to live the lifestyle you want, you need to have a certain level of stress to be able to get paid enough in which you can live that lifestyle. I guess it's like I don't know if it's a lie or not. It seems to be reality. Is most people I know who make good money have a stress level that makes them not be able to be mentally present to enjoy the money they just made.
I have been in a couple positions where I'm such a zombie,
Yeah.
and I'm not, and it's not a brag, it's just like, "Okay, cool.
Yeah.
You did the thing, and now you are just, like, so out of it that you're just like," so, like, that was a big deal. Like, I remember the first time I left a position like that, I was like, "Dude," I was on the edge of, like, not making it through it. I was
Hmm.
really close to ending my everything
Yeah.
just because it
Just
was too
blowing it all
much,
up. Yeah.
and I remember just sitting there and talking, now my well, it was my girlfriend, now my wife. I'm like, "Money is like, it's I get it, and this is my first time making this kinda stuff," but it was like, "Dude, I'm not happy." Like, I
Yeah.
am ready to just, like, yeah, not
F
be
it. We're
around.
moving. We're changing everything. I don't care about anything. We're eating cold rice for the rest of our lives. I don't care anymore.
Well, it's funny because 'cause you're always programmed to be like, "You need to do this, you need to make
Yeah.
this," and just keep going higher and higher and getting
Yeah.
more stuff and more stuff, and then
Yeah.
you're just like, "Dude, I've no one's happy." Some people
Yeah.
are. I mean, there's some people you're like, I always say that's my joke when you see, like, they got this huge house and all this stuff, like, but are they really happy?
Are they happy?
I don't know.
Do they
I was
like it?
like, they're probably not, but they probably are, but whatever.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I know exactly, like, that's the thing. So, it's just making those decisions in your life to be like, "This is how I wanna be," and a lot of people, like, will frown on you or look down on you, but you're like, "Hmm, you know what? We're cool.
Yeah. Yep.
Everything's fine. I don't have to buy a new car.
Yeah.
I can just be
I
cruising."
mean, I don't know if like American culture is ever like, hey, you're now satiated. Like you've had enough to eat. That like none of that is American to me. It's not very Western culture thing. So you have to have the moment in which you realize that like you've been overeating or you've been like scarfing your face whenever you're like, hey, you don't need to eat like this. You don't need to be like this. Like you probably it is, I guess, getting more like Zen, more learning about like Buddhist practice, honestly, and meditation. Be like, hey, actually, you probably have everything and you're okay. And also, it's kind of a privilege if you have everything and you're okay.
Yeah, because not everyone can say that, and it's,
Correct. Yes.
yeah, you're right. It's just like, and I'm not knocking it.
No.
That's just what keeps this whole world moving.
Hmm.
And I know people, they have businesses and that's their whole motivation is to make this
Yep.
much, get this thing, buy this toy.
Yep.
I'm like, and that's cool because that's what motivates them because they might
Yep.
not be able to keep their business going if they don't have
Yep.
that.
Correct.
And
Yeah.
that's just what that is. It's just sometimes it just makes people unhappy.
It does. Yep. Well, because I think all they see is deficits then. All they see is like, well, I wasn't able to do this. I wasn't able to become this. And I'm more like, but who were you able to be? How were you able to act? And can you let that bring you joy as opposed to how you weren't able to step up or something like that? Because of course, if I think of all the ways I should have done more things, I'm never going to be happy with who I am. But what did I actually do what changes can I make for the future?
Yeah. I've learned for myself to
Hmm.
be appreciate just little wins. Is sometimes people just like, oh, it's got to be the big thing instead of like focusing on like, yeah, this was cool. Like it
Yeah.
doesn't have to be some grandiose thing. It can just be
Yeah.
like, yeah, that was cool.
But the-
Feel some people
yeah.
I know always looking for the next thing, the next big thing. Like, what's the upgrade? Instead of being like, this is cool. Like
Yeah.
we miss the moment, or people are so nostalgic for a certain era because when they were living in it, they didn't realize it, but they weren't living in the moment. I feel really bad for my kids right now because they're too busy. Well, actually, I'm pretty good about that. I try to like show them like, hey, just be in this moment.
Hmm.
Don't have to record it, live it,
Yeah.
and just keep it up in here, which is
Yeah.
such a what? Didn't happen if you didn't capture it.
All right.
But
Yeah.
so they're pretty good at that. They'll like take stills or something like that.
Yeah.
But I think just being just enjoying the moment, I think is really huge right now. And I think more people are realizing it again. I think everyone's just so caught up in like going fast.
Yeah. I can record a song, someone playing a song. I can take a million pictures of it. If I wasn't there to actually be there for the performance and everything, it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't matter.
It's interesting because you take yourself out of the moment by looking through the back of your screen, right?
Yeah.
But if you watch any show except for ones where they pull phones,
Yes.
everyone's recording it. And then I'll watch it on YouTube later on, going, oh,
Yeah.
like, oh, this band played sick. And I'm like,
Yeah. Yeah.
but now I'm part of the problem because I'm watching this. But there's a good chance I may never see that band play again, or they might not come out to where I'm at. So I'm kind of the problem, I guess, at the same time.
I will record like maybe a chorus. Like I'll record like a chorus or something like that. And then if like I have a friend where it's like a shared interest or a shared moment that we've had together with the band, then I'll send it to them. But then whenever it comes like the second chorus, I'm like, Devin, stop it. Like stop recording. Put your phone in your pocket. Pay attention.
Yeah, it's kind of wild. It's just like everyone has to. uh, yeah, it's kind of interesting. But I've also made the move for myself also to enjoy like, and this is such a we went I had never got rid of I have my own Blockbuster Video and my other studio. I have all my
Nice.
DVDs, VHS tapes, right?
Yeah.
And I would just go there and rent stuff out of my own stuff. But I
Hmm.
went back with my kids now and go, hey, because like we're all kind of fed up with streaming because
Hmm.
like they lose a license or whatever.
Yep.
So we've been going through and we just went through and just did like found a bunch of record stores. The library's great also.
Library's great. Yeah.
Yeah, and they'll have the Friends of the Bookstore. So
Hmm.
$1, $3 Blu-rays, like, so we're
Yeah.
just collecting this stuff and, like, watch a movie, like, every week on a format that's not second screen and, like,
Yeah.
make everyone, like, no phones.
Yeah. That's cool.
And it's like and you think, "Oh, they actually enjoyed it because they weren't zoned out on something else." But I know that's kind of like everyone knows that, but I don't think a lot of people practice it. And I'm not telling people you gotta do this, but it is an interesting way to have people connect on things. We used to play we just went on a little trip for spring break and my wife brings out playing cards and we play this game called 31 where you have to get 31 or whatever with 3 cards only. And everywhere we went, we were playing it again, which is really cool because we weren't on our phones and parents were walking by and for funsies, they threw out like money on the table and some parents were like, "What? They're playing for money?" So and then my daughter just took all
That's
the
awesome.
money. She
Yeah.
didn't
Yeah.
win, but she took the money. But either
Yeah.
way,
Yeah.
it
She
was
earned
still
it
cool.
somehow.
Yeah, exactly. But like those are the things that we're doing right now just to like because like right now I feel like this is like my last moments before the kids start to get older and they're out the door more. Like my son, maybe not. My daughter's like ready. She's like goes out and gets adventures already at 13,
Yeah.
but soon they'll be like gone. I won't see them, you know. till they decide to like they need money or something happened or whatever, or they're just like, I have nowhere to
Yeah.
go or whatever, you know.
Well,
So
I've heard of some people trying to figure out because like I think like maternity or paternity leave is always focused on of like first couple of months of a newborn, you want to be physically present for it. But I think more people are now trying to figure out like, okay, I have 4 years of my kids being in high school. These are 4 very formative years, and then I'm releasing them into the world. How do I not take a step back in my career, but how do I be more physically and mentally available for them? Because these 4 years are really going to matter to both of us, honestly. So I think more people are trying to figure out like, all right, how do I make sure to be here for this? Because it's really important to know that. Because, yeah, you basically are knowing that in the next 5 years, both your kids will probably leave the house, be off in college, and the next 5 years are pretty important for you.
yeah, because that's how it is. But I don't think a lot of people want to focus on that because it's
No.
scary because you're like,
Yeah,
you
it
don't
is. It is
know.
scary. Yeah.
And then if you look at, and I feel bad. I don't want to point fingers, but like you go places and maybe because I'm late to having a phone. It's kind of funny saying that, but I probably had a phone for like 20 years now, 25 years
Okay.
maybe, which doesn't sound like a like late to the game, but it kind of is. But like I don't always use it mainly because for me, working with a phone was always just too much. Like I had
Hmm.
like at one point I had 3 phones because I was so
That's a
busy in this.
lot.
Yeah, I had one just for texting, one just for voice, and another one just as a backup. It was
Yeah. Yeah.
so
Yeah.
bad. Anyways, so I kinda don't, but I get bummed when I go places and everyone is just locked in, like, you'll see a table next to you and they're just all locked in on their phone and like, "Why'd you guys even leave the house?"
Yep. Yep.
But, that's how everyone kind of escapes,
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
it's just kind of a bummer, but I don't wanna I don't know. I don't wanna if that works for them,
Yeah.
that's great. It doesn't work for us. It doesn't work for
Yeah.
me, and I'm the one fighting it, but, yeah. Enough of me on my soapbox, I will get down now.
You're good. We found out recently that our library, you can rent board games there.
Yeah.
So we do that. You can rent them for like 2 weeks or so, and it is awesome because I also think like if we can avoid screens, then we've done something right. Like, or then I assume connection has happened because of it. Because yeah, screen just means I get to isolate myself from everything else in the world around me. And so, like, we've done that in the last couple of weeks. So, like, okay, we're gonna go to the library while we're there. You guys check out some books, and let's see what board games we want to try out. And like, it also removes the pressure of like, I just dropped $40 on this board game. We better like it, which is a weird pressure that I put out there. But I definitely, if I spend $40 on it, we better play this game at least 4 to 5 times.
Yeah. We did the we did like, we've collected board games, we started using, like we did Monopoly on one New Year's Eve, and my wife had, like she went, like, hard on everybody, and that game lasted, like, 4 hours,
No.
and boy, my daughter, like, just, "Nope, no more Monopoly in this house." Like,
Yes.
so, like, we gotta be real careful with that, but
Yeah.
we've done that too, and it's cool because, like, yeah, like I said, no pressure because board games are expensive because
They
they're
are.
not they're not as they have them in stores, but they don't sell as well as they used to because there's
Hmm.
other forms of entertainment. So the price has gone up. It just kinda sucks. But yeah, going to the library is a great place to do it. Another thing I've found is, like, I've kind of broken our family of instant gratification a little bit. Like,
Hmm.
we're gonna if you want something, we'll try and find it at a store as opposed to buying it online. Or we'll order it from the manufacturer and we'll just wait a little bit longer to get it. Or my favorite thing is my kid, like, they'll want something, I'm like, "Okay, we'll just see if we can find it," or for records and stuff like that, we're not gonna buy it online. We're gonna see if we can find it in the
Yeah.
wild,
Yeah.
and that's my favorite thing because that's how it was growing up collecting. Because
Hmm.
I have a collection of many different things because, I don't know, I have lots of very various interests, so I'll collect a lot of different things, and that was really hard to break my youngest, but now they have found, like, "That's cool." Like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
we find this in the wild, it was meant to be." Usually, like, hey, some of the stuff, people don't want it, so you get it for way less. It's
Yeah.
perfectly fine.
I read a lot of books and like Justin Towns Earl had like a biography written about him, but it wasn't at like the local independent bookstore near us. So I was like, I went and like talked to the owner. I was like, hey, if I want to buy a book from you guys instead of Amazon, can you order it for me? And they're like, yeah. And then also like showing your kids like, hey, if you want something, like just because it's not there, maybe you can actually like talk to the owner, develop a relationship with the owner. Like now the owner of this bookstore in the future knows like, hey, if there's another weird, obscure musician autobiography out there, this guy might want it, and then they'll talk to me about it next time we're in the shop.
Yeah, I had that very similar experience with my youngest. We went to this record store not too far called Doctor Strange,
Mhm.
And this guy came and started struck up a conversation about dub and reggae. And I'm not gonna lie,
Okay.
I'm not like super like very casual, very surface dub reggae kind of person, right?
Yeah.
But he went and talked to me 2 hours, I think, about this in the store. And my kid was just like, "What are you doing?" I'm like,
Yeah,
"We're
yeah.
just talking to somebody about it," and they turned me on a bunch of different music, and
Yeah.
I had a surface level of it, but then went and deep dove for a couple weeks on it. I'm like, "Oh, this is pretty rad." I'm like into it
Yeah.
because like I never went that far. I went like a surface, never went below it. And then I'm like,
Mhm.
"Oh, it's cool," and
Yeah.
showed like, yeah, you can. That's what happens when you go to a record store. You're gonna meet somebody who's gonna like maybe
Yeah.
corner you and talk to your ear off,
Yep.
but it's cool. And if I ever see that guy Steven again at the record store, I'll
Yeah.
be like, "Hey, man, this is what I got into," and I actually now go look for records or CDs of this stuff. So and it's kind of rad. So that was a moment that a lot of people don't do because, like, I don't even talk to my neighbors really. It's just
Why
how it is
not?
because that's just how it is in California. People are like
Okay.
siloed.
Okay.
Everyone's siloed.
Yeah.
Like some people maybe like I do talk to one of the neighbors up the street because he's like he builds amps and he plays music stuff like
Okay.
that. So
Yeah.
like that's cool and like a couple other people, but my actual immediate neighbors barely at all. Like that's it. It's just how it is. It
Yeah,
kind
I
of
gotcha.
sucks
Yeah. Yeah.
because I don't know. Everyone's got something going on, I
Mhm.
guess, and some people just like yeah, I just now, just close the door.
I feel that way with like second wave emo is like the genre or time period that I know way too much about, like all the Midwest, like American football, Braid,
Mm.
all those bands. Where I'm also like, I'm almost like, all right, if someone like is in that section of a record store and like is looking at the record, like just I'm not going to say anything to them because I'm going to come on way too strong, way too hard to be like, oh you interested? Blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, Devin, just calm it down a little bit. You don't know this person.
Well, you could be best friends and do karate in the
I could
garage
be
pretty
best
quick.
friend.
You
Are you
could,
doing? You could.
you
But
could, but
it's a bold assumption that I assume just because someone picked up a record for half a second, they wanna hear the whole, like, lore of it.
yeah, but there's people out there who wanna learn that stuff, but here's the thing. For dudes, let's be real about it. Most dudes, your wives will take you somewhere, they think it's like a play date or something, like you're just gonna just, like, lock in and, like, have this moment with other dudes, and it doesn't happen. My wife did it. She recently took me somewhere, and there was other dads and husbands there, and
Yeah.
we just stood there. We had nothing in common. I could tell. Dudes aren't in the cars. They don't
Yep.
like or they're probably not into music. They don't watch obscure films.
Yeah.
I don't like sports. I'm just
Okay.
not gonna lie. I'm just not a sports
Yeah,
guy,
yeah.
never have been.
That's cool. Yep.
And usually if you're not into sports, that's pretty much it.
You're done. Yep.
So I'm that guy, the weird dad in the corner just hanging out by myself or hanging out with my kids, like, hey, just like that's not me. I'm not doing it. Like,
Yeah.
that's fine.
Yeah.
So I think it was pretty funny. So for adult men to make new friends is almost like winning the lottery at this
Yeah.
point.
I think you start a podcast. I think that's how you meet new potential friends. That's basically what I've learned.
That could be it. Yeah. Cause then they're kind of forced to interact with you.
Yeah. They are. Yeah.
Not really forced, but it's a voluntary interaction that you record and you
They
maybe offline, you'll talk later on.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, they at least signed up for this. You at least signed up for this conversation, you know? I'm not just a dad in a semicircle wearing a soccer jersey wondering if you've ever followed a soccer game before, you know?
Yeah. No, I get it. Yeah. That's fine. It's crazy.
What is your day job? Or you said you're kind of like consulting, you do just kind of like everything. Is that what you kind of do?
No, so I'm a creative. So I'm a designer, artist, a creative consultant. So I work with small to mid-size action lifestyle brands. I've been doing it
Okay.
for 23 years. And then so I like work with these companies to help them get one organized because most of the time in action sports lifestyle, they're usually athletes who are great at what they do, but they don't understand the business. And usually for soft
Yeah.
goods, like apparel brands.
Mhm.
So that's what I work with. So I usually get them organized first, and then we work on design secondary. And then the whole idea is to help them realize their potential, where they can get off to
Okay.
the next stage. Because usually, when I'm done, they're moving on to something else, and usually, a lot of times, suits come in and acquire them, and then
Yeah.
like, yeah, the passion gets kind of like extinguished for me, and then I move on to something else. So right now, I work with a couple different brands, like Dirt Bike Kids, freestyle motocross brand. It's owned by Twitch, Jeremy Stenberg. He's like
Mhm.
been around for a long time in that space. X Games winner, stuff like that. Really cool dude. Reminds me a lot of early Famous Stars and Straps days. And I worked at a company called Hoonigan, which was Ken Block's company. I worked with
Oh,
them for
yeah.
7 years. And then that's where I left actually to go do this. And then I worked with Von Gittin Junior Motorsports out of North Carolina. He has a drift team. He's a champion, and I've known him for a long, long time actually. So I've worked in these different spaces, so that's what I do. So I'm home like I work 4 days a week. I'm like on
Yeah.
site with one of my brands like 2 days. The rest of the time I'm home in this room, and that's what I do. So I do artwork. I do a lot of just planning, sequencing, stuff like that. So it's like I get to
Yeah.
be creative, but help them realize what makes them who they are. Help
Yeah.
the North Star, because a lot of these companies like they get caught up. They just
Yeah.
feel like
Absolutely.
little vacuum. So I've been doing that 23
Yeah.
years. So I've worked with, yeah, like
Dude,
I said, it's fun.
that's awesome. That sounds really cool. That and also it makes a ton of sense. Of like step one is organizing and basically being like, all right, who are you guys? Like, and what do you got going on? And it's like actually put it on paper because a lot of small businesses are like, why are you doing this? Someone needed to. I'm still doing it, and maybe we should hire. Should I hire for this? Someone else should be doing this. I don't know.
Well, yeah, because like they need to be doing their thing. And like there needs to be someone like, yeah, here's how you should probably release things and like just like build upon it. So I just like that world because I've only worked in the last 23 years. I've only worked with people who've been like, yeah, we pretty much wear shorts and t-shirts every day. Like that's
Yeah.
it. Like that was
Yeah.
my goal in life is to just be that guy. Yeah, man, that's it. But I mean, hey, sometimes you have to wear something like for court or a wedding, whatever. You never know. So it's fine.
And maybe it's the same day, which
You
would be
never
very
know.
convenient.
Yeah, so you can knock 2 out. So that's what
That's
I
right.
do. That's what I do for and I feel like I mean, dude, I've worked with a lot of people in the music world too, which has been really
Yeah.
crazy because I didn't realize it till my daughter recently, like, started noticing, "Well, you did this." Yeah, I worked on that one, I worked on that one, I know this person, and then it's not a
Yeah.
brag, it's just like I worked in the music industry,
Yeah.
and I met all these people, and I got to work on projects, and then some of that stuff still is floating around, so it's kinda rad.
Yeah.
And then to see like, oh, and like she picked up on it and like just went, "Oh, this is cool." So it's
Yeah.
kinda rad. So it's like her discovering these things, I'm like, "Oh, yeah, I totally forgot about that stuff,"
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
that's something I did 20 years ago,
Yeah.
and I just kept it moving. So it's cool. So that's what I do, and, yeah, so I'm, like, drop off the kids from school, my wife's doing her shift at the hospital,
Hmm.
I'll pick up the kids from school, and then I won't see them again till dinner because 'cause they're just gonna be doing their own thing. But,
Yeah.
yeah, so that's what I do. So
That's
I'm
nice.
happy there because before, I would be gone at 9 o'clock in the morning, come home at 9 o'clock at night.
Oh man. Yeah.
And then Hoonigan was like, is an automotive lifestyle and has a YouTube component. So I would be like doing my design director job and then doing a YouTube. I'd be hosting on YouTube. I'd write story arcs. And like
Yeah.
by the time I get home on the weekends, if we weren't gone or on the road or filming, I was just a zombie. So like that was a big switch for me to not do that anymore. So like now I'm like, cool. If I work Fridays my day to work on my own projects or collab or pick up extra work. And then weekends I try to be like, okay, what are we gonna do?
That's awesome.
But it took me a long time to design my
Yes.
life that way.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, this is the culmination of probably lots of years of you being like, where am I this weekend? Where am I mentally this weekend? I'm not present for anything. And to figure out the path because it's not, none of that is simple, man. All of that is a lot of work, a lot of frustration, and a lot of time to figure out what the hell this actually looks like.
Yeah, and I have this habit of going super hard and going right back to my old habits of
Yeah.
like, I'm just gonna work super hard and keep saying
Hmm.
yes to these projects.
Yep.
And then like, yay, I made extra money. And then I'm like I just like
Yeah.
and just fried. And my wife's like, yeah, you did it again. So like she always reminds me like, because
Yeah.
she can see me, I just get too far and I'll just fall off and I'm like just miserable. So like, okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've designed this life and I'm really happy with it. And it seems to work out
Yeah.
well for us. So
That's great. Well, it's really hard to, especially if I'm assuming you have a pretty big like entrepreneurial spirit to you. To say no to stuff is really hard because then, especially like music, creative stuff, if you say no to one thing, usually that one thing leads to the next thing, which leads to the next thing, which leads to the next thing. So you're not saying in your head, you're not saying no to that person. You're saying no to the possibilities that might come from them also.
yeah, because I would work when I started working for Travis back in 2003, I would work from 9 to 1 o'clock in the morning. I worked
Yeah.
6 days a week.
That's not
I
good.
did, but I was young. I was 30.
Yeah. 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 You're so
So
young at 30.
well, no, I changed my career. I was an industrial rubber hose salesman for
Wait,
like 8 years.
really?
Yeah, so
Okay.
here's what I'll give you we'll run her
Yeah. Yeah.
back.
Yeah.
So
Elevator pitch me. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So when I started, um, back in 2002, my some of my friends were like graffiti artists and they were fine artists and they were doing soft goods. They were going into working for apparel companies, doing
Mhm.
illustration, stuff like that, right? I'm like, "Oh, that sounds cool." I mean, I did comic books and stuff like that with my buddy, and like, I'm gonna give myself 1 year to try and do this. Well, my buddy Max Gramajo, he's the one who got me in. He was actually the artist at Famous Stars Straps
Yeah.
originally. He was an in-house. And then after 6 months, I got my job. I'm like, "All right, cool." I didn't know how much I was gonna get paid.
Yeah.
I didn't know if I was gonna be there for 2 days or 2 weeks and being there for 5 years, but I had no idea. So
Okay. Yeah.
I didn't use the computer really. I was doing Photoshop, and then I get the first day of work, I'm like, "Oh, we don't use Photoshop, we use Illustrator." So I teach myself Illustrator over the weekend. So I
Gosh.
got
Yeah.
my job, and I never looked back from then, but I would work so much. That's how I opened so many doors because I
Yeah.
met a lot of people because I worked so hard. But also, when you work for a rock star, you're around a lot of people, and he was just always on he still is to this day, on the go constantly.
Yeah.
So that opened a lot of doors for me. So yeah, I put all that work in the earlier part of my career to now being like, I'm just kinda tired, and I could just be like, you just gotta, like, let me know way in advance. Like,
Yeah.
someone just reached out to me about something, I gotta get back to them. I'm like, I just can't take it on right now because, like, my threshold to overload myself gets lower, and it's
Hmm.
just it doesn't make me happy, the work
Yeah.
suffers, and it's just like, I don't wanna overpromise people. I'm just like, "Hey, I can't do this right now. If it's still in the future, maybe, if you don't get it done. If not, best of luck. Maybe there's somebody I can help connect you with," or something like that. So,
Yeah. Yep.
yeah.
But it is learning, like, if you are burnt out or you're done, and then like someone's like, "Hey, I'm a new client. I'm really excited to work with you," and you're like, "I never should have said yes to this." It's not the energy you want to bring into a relationship.
No, especially if it's, like, in, like, that kinda, like, oh, it's, like it's a business thing, and you're like, yeah, you
Yeah.
can't it's hard. Especially creative stuff is, like, very you make yourself very vulnerable
Hmm.
in a lot of those things, and
Yep.
sometimes people not everybody, there are people who prey on it, and that's another thing is, like, seeing younger artists, people get into this profession, just get beat up, and I'm always been like the, "Nah." So it's
Yeah.
I've fired clients, and you gotta see
Really?
the look on
Okay.
their oh, yeah, and people are like, "You can't do that." I'm like, "I just did."
Why not?
So, it's fine. But yeah,
Yeah.
so that's
That's
what I
cool.
did. So I did that, moved forward, and was able to kinda do my thing, and it's, for me, it's really fulfilling, and I've had a lot of, great relationships, and I've got to work with a lot of great people and projects I've been really proud about, especially the ones I get reminded I did.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's fun, it's cool. Actually, like, you had Christopher Lee Lewis on not too long ago from
Yeah.
McKinnison, and I met Christopher when they first came in, I just found their it's, like, right over there, I had the backup burned DVD from 2005. I found the artwork for the record they're re-releasing on vinyl for the first time, what, in the next month?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
had
Pretty
it.
soon.
It took, like, months of me searching through all my backups,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I found it, but I remember meeting them back then.
That's cool.
So, it's kinda wild. So I watched him on your and that's why we're talking right now, actually.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
So,
Well,
it's cool.
it's also kind of cool that, like, I know that scene is having resurgence because, yeah, like your daughter's now into it. A lot of people's kids are into it now. So now
Mhm.
it is kind of like my parents didn't have that. Like my dad listened to a lot of David Bowie and like Billy Joel and stuff. Like we never connected on like, oh, hey, I'm going to go to Billy Joel. Like that wasn't a thing. Whereas like for our kids, it's like, oh, hey, do you guys want to go down the street? They're on their 20, da, 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 and you can do all that. So like it's a very different world, but it's really cool at the same time.
No, it's awesome. That's why I'm happy to be able to, oh, I'm not so far gone that I'm like, "Oh, I don't know what that is." That, like, you can't? So it's like, yeah, we're going. Me and
Yeah.
my kid are going to Kinnison. Like,
Yeah. That's cool.
We're gonna see MCR twice this year,
Nice.
and then, like, she's gonna try and go a third time. She's, like, trying to get her aunt to, like, send her to Texas to go see him a third time.
What?
I took her into January to go see, Mikey Way, the bass player from
Yeah.
MCR. He signed his comic book, like, it was 2 hours away. We drove there, stood in line for 4 hours. She got
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
meet him, and I got to see somebody I have an internet like, an Instagram friend I've known for, like, 15 years, but never met
Yeah.
face to
Yeah.
face, and we live,
Yeah.
like, maybe half an hour away from each other, and I ran into him the first time there because his daughter's into MCR. She plays guitar. They're very similar.
That's cool.
We go to
Yeah.
shows sometimes together. So it's
Yeah.
really cool that, like, my parents would never do that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because it
But
wasn't an option. Like, I mean, how would
nah,
you
it's true.
even know? Like, I mean, I think message boards were a thing whenever we were teenagers. So, like, no, it wasn't a, yeah, like,
No, because I think I was doing BBS boards, early
yeah,
internet. That would've been like 87, maybe
yeah,
88. So, probably my parents definitely were not
no,
doing that.
no,
So,
no, not at
it's a
all.
different thing, but it is cool that, like you said, the resurgence is happening, I can experience that again
Yeah,
because I never got to see the Kingston play live.
yeah, yeah.
They had a very short window,
Yes, I did.
but my daughter does get mad at me because I was on tour with Blink 182 on Warped Tour and stuff like that. She's like, "Oh," and like this year, I'm like, "Oh yeah, I was there that year. I went like 4 dates. Did you see MCR? No."
No,
She's like,
I did not.
"Lame." But I saw Blink and Fall Out Boy every night,
Yeah,
and I
like
was
every
like,
single night. That's pretty
"Yeah,
legit. That's pretty
yeah."
cool.
And she's like, "Yeah, that's cool. It's fine, whatever." But it is interesting to have these conversations. But she's super into the lore. She deep dives on
That's
everything
cool.
about the bands, which is really cool because she's very much she'll go do the research. Right? I think it's really awesome because I think a
Yeah,
lot of the kids, especially now with this nostalgia for bygone decades and eras, like they just
yeah,
look at it surface. They don't like want to know like why the things were.
yeah,
So it's cool to see some of these kids are like down to like, why was it cool?
yeah, yeah. Has she read like any Dan Ozzie books yet? Like Sellout? Okay,
Mm-mm.
so Sellout is Dan Ozzie, who did like Mark Hoppus's biography and
Mm.
Laura Jane Grace's biography. It's basically him going with all those bands from like the 90s and early 2000s. So like Blink, Green Day, Jimmy World, I think Rise Against, Against Me, all these bands who went from indie labels to major labels and what that experience was like. I think Thursday is one of the ones he talks to also,
Mm.
but it has all of that lore. There's another book called Where Are Your Boys Tonight, which also is like a huge deep dive into that scene. I can't think of who writes that. I'll message you both of them. But both of those are two books that are very late 90s, early 2000s, that scene focused. And because it does like all the lore, talking about hanging out like in basements in New Jersey and all that stuff of how that scene got started. And if she wants to do a deep dive, those are two books that are very easy to read and really fascinating.
That would probably be good. So I appreciate that
Okay, cool.
because
Yeah, yeah.
she's not much of a reader, but we just bought a book. She just got a book this weekend. And I was like, whoa, it was a big deal. So
Okay.
that
Okay.
might be perfect because it's something she'd be interested in and be great. So yeah, I appreciate that.
I think Where Are Your Boys Tonight has Gerard Way on the cover of it. So that would probably also be a selling point.
That's all I had to say.
I think if I could choose one of those shows to go to, it would probably be, I'm pretty sure they're playing Wembley and that Sunny Day Real Estate is opening for them. And I
That'd
think
be pretty
that to watch,
sick.
like, that'd be pretty legit to watch all of that.
We're going to Petco San Diego, and then we got tickets when they announced they're gonna play with the used in Hollywood
Yeah,
Bowl. So I got those, but we had to get
that's cool.
I joined the group. I was
Oh,
one of
the
their
fan
fans.
club.
Yeah, I got in there super early. And I still
Yep.
had to get like for Hollywood Bowl, I got seats so high up. I don't even know if we're actually inside the Hollywood Bowl at this
Yeah.
point,
Yeah. Yeah.
but
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
she has plenty of time because like, okay, here's some used CDs. Like, here you go. Like, listen to some music. She's like, all right, cool. But like, yeah, man, like that would be. I'm actually kind of excited to see them just because their production. And then she
Yeah.
explains so much of the lore and like everything and
Mhm.
MCR5 and all this stuff. I'm
God,
like,
yes.
so I'm like, it's funny because I actually had Sweet Revenge, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
On
Yeah.
my iPod, because I rebuilt her mom's iPod, she uses it. I rebuilt mine like a year and a half ago. So like
That's cool.
we're like she's like ripping CDs and putting them on her iPod and just doing it. It's still digital, but it's still
Yeah.
not
Yeah. I got you. Yeah.
streaming. But like, yeah. So I'm excited to actually see those shows because it's just I missed it, even though I could have seen them on the side stage,
Mm-hmm.
barely cracking. But it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
But they see them now in their glory. It's just it's wild that she's obsessed. Like she's obsessed. It's
That's
cool. Like
awesome.
her whole room is plastered with just the most random stuff. Like she's obsessed with Jackass too, which I think is pretty funny.
Sure. Very early 2000s. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but about it, very about it.
Yeah.
Like
That's cool.
oh, it's cool. But yeah. Anyways, I won't take any more of that time talking about that. But I'm excited
That's
about
awesome.
that. And then
Yeah.
I got my son like just through connections. Like one of the bands he listens to is called Make Out Reef. And they're like
Yeah.
a bedroom pop, right? Really small. And I was
Yeah.
looking at members over the weekend. I'm like, oh, this is who the members are. And it's like this guy, Liam Reese. I'm like, oh, Reese. I wonder if that's Reese's son. So Chris Reese is in Long Beach. I used to work out there. He was the drummer for Social D. He left the
Okay.
Lude. He joined Social D. And then he retired. And then like, I wonder if that's one of his kids. So I message him. And he's like, oh, yeah, that's my son. Yeah, he's playing
What,
for
dude?
Make Out Reef, and he plays for Couch Dog or whatever. And they just finished their tour. He's touring for both of them, and he put three of his sons through college almost simultaneously. So I think this is the one son.
Dude.
I'm not sure about the other two if they're playing music,
Yeah.
but like, yeah. So it's just random
That's cool.
that like. So my kid's like, oh, and then Chris is like, yeah, if you ever want tickets,
Just let him
let us
hit me
know.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Well,
so
my
cool.
kid was like, so that was one of those moments where like, okay, networking I'm not asking for free tickets, but I was just cool.
Yeah,
Like, oh,
yeah.
this is this dude. This is his kid. He's the music you like, and like it's cool. It's not that big of a world after all. So
Yeah. I would love for at the drive-in to do a reunion
oh,
just cause like one, I think that Dan Ozzie book Sellout talks about at the drive-in. And he's very much like, oh no, this band was so intense and burned so brightly that they crashed as hard as they played on stage every single night.
yeah, I mean, if you watch that, they had that famous performance when I think they played on a TV show in the
Yeah, like
UK or
Letterman
whatever.
or something. Yeah.
Oh, they played in the UK, and they just like
Yeah.
Omar just stopped playing guitar and just broke and started playing a ukulele
Yep.
or no, we played the cowbell or something like that because
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
but it's so crazy. They're like so awesome, but
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like I'm kind of bummed. I didn't get to see the Refuse play. I missed their
Yeah.
and I missed seeing them play their final show, which they did stream,
Yeah.
and I didn't get to see that. I'm kind of bummed, but like
Yeah.
at the drive-in would be cool. I think Sparta's playing. No, Sparta just released a new
Sparta. Yeah.
record.
Yeah. Jim Ward's back at it. Yeah. He's back at it. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think it's cool. At the drive-in would be awesome, but I don't know if it could ever happen.
I don't know if it could ever happen, but I would be there to stand in the crowd and like just be in amazement at, that I get to watch them play. Not even like if they could have a shit performance and I'd still be there and be like, I'm watching at the drive-in. This is pretty cool.
Yeah, because I don't know if they can move.
No, those songs are super intense. Those like those songs, and you can't just stand. You have to move it. Yeah, it requires a lot of inertia to play those songs.
Yeah, the energy's insane. So that would
Just
be
a bit.
great.
All right, I'm gonna wrap up with 5 questions. They aren't rapid fire or anything. There's kind of fun icebreaker questions, and then I'll send you on your way. First question is: did you have any backup names for your kids? Like, did you have any names that you almost named your kids?
Oh my gosh, dude. Yes. And it's pretty funny. So the
Yeah,
oldest, his name is Gunner. At one point, and this sounds horrible. I know
yeah,
people
yeah.
will be really judgy about this. We were considering naming the kid Ghetto Blaster.
Ghetto Blaster.
Yeah, we decided not to do that, but we were
Thank you. That's probably
seriously
good. That's probably good.
we were seriously thinking that, but we still got heat from some of our family for naming him Gunner.
Yeah,
But whatever, dude. It actually came
yeah,
from
yeah.
the Expendables, the movie. It's Dolph Lundgren's character. Over my wife, and
Where did?
we had lists
Yeah,
of
yeah.
names, and we were watching the Expendables when she was pregnant, and we're like,
That's it.
and that was it.
We got it. We got it.
Can't help it, nerds. Can't
What
help it,
about
nerds.
Ghetto Blaster? Where did you get Ghetto Blaster from?
I think it was just like it's like Audio Pilot and like
Yeah,
Apple.
yeah.
There's like there's a certain time when people were naming their kids just the craziest names,
Yep.
and I think we were just on that wavelength. Like, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
and then you're like, no.
No, he has to be an adult at
dude.
some point in time.
Yeah, and
GB?
they'll,
What, do you
like-
just abbreviate it? Like, what do you do?
Yeah, exactly. So that was probably we dodged that one. I mean, hey, they wrote that Johnny Cash wrote that song, Boy Named Sue. I mean, come on, he wrote
Yeah.
a song about it.
Actually, Shel Silverstein wrote that.
Oh, okay, see, here's the thing.
Yeah,
I didn't
there
know
you go.
that. So I learned something new today.
But re-listen to it and you're like, this is totally a Shel Silverstein poem.
Okay, so it's not even a cover. It's just like
No, Shel
it's a-
Silverstein, I'm almost positive. You can Wikipedia this later. He wrote 2 Johnny Cash songs. I'm pretty sure Boy Named Sue. And there's one called like 15 Minutes where a guy's counting down the time before he gets hung and dies.
Okay.
And those are both, I don't know if he co-wrote or full out wrote them, but they're both like Shel Silverstein songs or poems.
Is he credited on like the
I
album?
think he is. I should have Googled this before I made such a bold claim. I'm going to,
Well, here's the thing.
all fact
I didn't
checkers.
know it. And I brought it up kind of not the most obscure, but it was definitely not with our conversation about
yeah.
music. But
Yeah.
okay. So either way, we did name we did name Ghetto Blaster. Probably a great idea. I don't know people would be like,
Great idea.
"Dude."
I'm going to confirm that for you. I'm going to
Yeah, okay.
give you the affirmation you're looking
Yeah.
for there.
And then for Penelope, she's still mad. She doesn't even like being called that name, so we just call her Pen now. Because like
Okay.
it's really because my wife at that time people were naming like pretty much earlier names were being popular again with kids.
Yes.
So Penelope, I think my wife got it from the movie with Christina Ricci.
Yeah.
Okay. But we were gonna name her Rocket at one time,
Okay.
which
Rocket.
actually really would fit her personality right now.
Yeah.
So her middle name is Arwen from Lord of the Rings, which I've never
Yeah.
watched really. But my wife is a big Lord of the Rings fan. I'm not gonna lie,
Okay.
my nerd only goes so far, then it stops, and I skip things, and I nerd out on other things.
Okay. Yep.
So, yes, the backup names. There was a list too, but Rocket was the one that was gonna
Okay.
win at one point, and we decided and
Yeah.
honestly, it would be a really good name right now. But
Did
that's
you
real.
guys were you a fan of the Guardian of the Galaxy movies? Because she also could have like it could have been a resurgence. The name would have been okay, I feel like, because like yeah, because of Rocket Raccoon and everything.
Yeah. No, we got into the Marvel thing before I got
Okay.
completely burned out in the Marvel
Yeah, that's
thing.
fair. There's only like 50 of them.
There's 5,000 of 'em at this point,
Yes.
and I grew up reading comic books, so to me, I was like, "Okay,
Yeah.
cool." Yeah, we've probably been okay with that, and I think she
Yeah.
really likes that.
Next question. Who's like your favorite TV, movie, or like book dad or like father figure?
Dude, that's a kind of a hard one because
You can
it's
also
like
do first one that comes to mind if that helps like narrow the scope a bit.
I mean, I talked about Al Bundy before from Married with Children. Then
Yeah.
there's Mr. C from Happy Days, that goes way further
Mm.
back.
Yeah, that's way further back. Yeah.
Uh, I don't know, I think if I did something more relevant, I would probably have to say Phil Dunphy from
Yep.
Modern Family. My wife
Yep.
really goes hard on that one. Those are them, I guess, like,
Yep.
yeah.
Realistically, Phil Dunphy or Bandit from Bluey, so a cartoon dog. Those are the two most common answers.
I've never seen Bluey, my kids are older.
It's super cute. It's you shouldn't. I mean, your kids are older. It'd probably be weird if you're like, "Hey, honey, tonight I know we only have an hour to watch TV. We're gonna do Bluey in canon. We're gonna do it in order."
Oof, man, I don't think I'm ready for that. I'm not ready for
You're
that yet.
not.
Yeah.
Also, you shouldn't be. Next question. Did you ever have a replacement curse word? Like something you would say instead of the curse word, or did you just say the curse word?
So when the kids were younger, I made it a habit to not say anything at all around them,
Like in general. Like you just didn't
just
speak to
general.
them?
Yeah, yeah, no, it was I took a vow of silence. I just didn't say any of the words around him at all.
Yeah.
I'm not knocking my wife. She definitely can talk like a pirate,
Yeah.
and then I would go to work and still have that mindset because the kids were younger, and now the kids are older, and we don't have a real strict policy. We used to, and it kinda
Yeah.
got more lax, and now I'm just like, "Man, are we in a bar right now? What's going on around here?" So I sometimes still kind of we didn't have anything, I just didn't say anything. There's some people that say, like, what was it? Hecka, like, that's a Northern California thing instead of
Yeah. Yeah.
hella.
Yeah.
Like, that's I never did any of that stuff. I had friends that did it. I just kinda just like, "Yeah, man, whatever." I just never said anything.
Yeah.
And now it's like, it's a free for all in our house. I'm sorry. We're not bad parents. I'm just telling you,
Yeah.
it's just the way they are. They're just like,
No.
yeah,
Well, there's gonna be the age where, like, they're saying the words anyway. So, like, if anything is like, "Oh, just don't say this in front of, like I don't want you to get your ass beat, and I don't want you to get expelled." So just that, right? Like, when to say these words, right?
yeah. And I'm like, you just don't just run them just in a long train and just keep saying it just to say it. Like, whatever. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like you said, they're old enough now. They're going to say it. I remember the first time my mom heard me say like, yeah, did you
Yeah.
hear me say shit? And she's like, I heard that. And I was like, she was downstairs in another side of the house.
That's awesome.
I was like, oh. So
That's
yeah,
awesome.
and even to this day, I barely say that stuff in front of my parents. Sometimes I
Yeah,
do,
yeah.
but usually I try not to because that moment, I'm like, oh,
'Cause I'm like, "Oh, man, she's gonna know for some reason somehow."
yeah, exactly. So, did you use any alternative words, or do you?
I do sound effects more. My kids are still a little bit younger because 'cause they're 10, 8, and 4, and so, like, yeah, I still have to. So, but no, like, whenever my youngest is 12, yeah, I did I told my wife this the other day. We live out in Colorado, and there's a thing called the Manitou Incline, which is literally like an incline that you walk up, and it takes like an hour or two to do it. So we made our kids do it, and then like we walked down it. And my middle child was like done, and I was like, hey, and like as in like my wife, son, and oldest daughter were already like almost back of the car, and we're still like have a fourth of the way to go down. And I looked at her and I was like, hey, you seem frustrated and annoyed. If I let you use curse words for the rest of this walk, will you walk down the rest of the way? And she like got this look on her face, like, oh, and I was like, and then she didn't even say, she's just like, she like pretended, she like, it energized her enough to know she could almost say it. And we got to the bottom, I was like, we can never speak of this. It's funny to figure out what motivates your kids. And the mischief totally motivated the second child.
Yeah, but that's fun though.
That was
And
really fun.
they have a memory that you both share
Yeah.
that will definitely be with that child forever.
Yeah.
That's kind of
Fingers
rad.
crossed. It's
Yeah,
pretty cool.
sure.
It's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Because you'll probably forget it.
No, I don't. Yeah, probably. I definitely will. I should not have the confidence there. I will forget it. And hopefully it's a positive memory for her.
I'm pretty sure it
I'm
would
pretty
be.
sure it will be. It will be.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Next question, second to last question. What's like favorite activity to do with your kids? It seems like it's probably like going to concerts, music, stuff like that. But what's like favorite activity you get to do with them?
Just enjoying their time. It doesn't really
Yeah.
I kind of broke them of like we always have to go looking for buying something.
Yeah.
So it can be like going to the park, walking, watching a movie, listening to music, just experiencing something together.
Yeah.
For the longest time, it was like they were on this shopping thing, like we just got to go buy stuff.
Yeah.
And I
It's
just
really
like,
hard
you
not
know
to do that.
what?
Yeah.
And during pandemic, that's all you could do. So guess what? A
Mm-hmm.
lot of people just hooked into that and never want to let it go.
Yep.
So it's kind of those things. So, but I would say like if we're digging for records or my son's looking for a video game, like a physical copy, which is really hard nowadays to find stuff. But it's
Mm-hmm.
funny because we just went to there's a store called Book Off. They're from Japan, but they have them now in the States.
Yeah.
And the one in San Diego is really, really good. And we went there and he decided to get some old Game Boy,
Mm.
Color Game Boy and Game Boy Advance games.
Yeah.
And I still have all my consoles. So he was playing. He's like, oh, this is really good still. I'm like, yeah. So he was like, oh, it's cool. So that kind of stuff for him, and obviously for Penn, it's like record stores. We might not
Yeah.
find nothing. She might be like, "This place sucks." Well,
Yeah.
she didn't
Yeah.
find nothing. But you got to either listen to someone talk about something, or you met somebody. You got to see some, like listen to something playing in the store. But it's just kind of experiencing things. I don't know. Before, when they were younger, they would go out to the garage and like watch me or help me work on my cars because I have a bunch
Yes.
of old schools, like old classics.
Okay.
And they
Yeah.
would do that, and, like, the oldest is now not really into that,
Mhm.
and then so my daughter, like, Penn wants to, like, teach me about cars, so she's
Cool.
gonna go that way, so it's kinda cool.
Nice. Yeah.
We're just any other shared experience, so and I also play
Yeah.
music, like, we'll play guitar together, and
Cool.
then sometimes my son will just sit in his bed while he's doing something, I'll just be in his room and just like, "What are you doing?" "Just hanging out, just getting that moment because there's gonna be a time when I won't be able to just walk in here and do this."
Yeah. Pretty
So,
much.
yeah, that's
That's
what it
cool.
is. Yeah.
That's sweet. That's cool. And then last question. What is your least favorite kids show or movie? Like something your kids used to watch all the time or still watch, and you're just like, this is trash. I can't stand this show.
I would say Paw Patrol
Yeah.
was something I could not get into. They loved it for a long time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's so funny because we just watched Gumball again recently, and Gumball is great, and it's because it's back on. So
Yeah.
it's like and I was like, "Oh, it's such a good show." But yeah, Paw Patrol is one I couldn't handle. But you just go through it, you're like, "Yeah, cool, man.
It's fine.
It's not
Yep.
for me."
I think once I figured out the formula of Paw Patrol, I could tolerate it a lot more. I'm like, okay, there's going to be some really dumb problem. They're then going to choose which pups go on that. Then, like, once I figured out the story arc, like Act 1, Act 2, Act 3, then I was like, okay, I can at least, like, for some reason that helped me. And then I could, like, because it's kind of like if your kid listens to a band a million times, like, I studied audio engineering stuff. So then, like, by the fifth time I've heard the song, I'm like, what's the bass in this song doing? What's the keyboard in this song doing? Like, I break it down to that level. So I'm not just in the corner being like, this song sucks. So that's the only way I know how to like tolerate that or deal with that.
That makes sense though, because you approach it from that. I would just be like, okay, they're gonna figure it out, work as a team. Great, that's fine. Good, but it teaches them that skill,
It does.
so it is helpful.
It is. But I will say, I do want consequences for Mayor Humdinger because he has none. There are no consequences at all. He continues to be mayor, and it's not even his town. He's coming from out of town to cause terror. So, like, that's the one lesson of Paw Patrol I want them to teach is like, where are the consequences for Mayor Humdinger?
That sounds like something for the next era of their show. A show that was really cool that I thought was really fun that I wish they would bring back was my gosh, Aquabats. What was it? It was with DJ
Like
Lance
Yo
Rock.
Gabba Gabba?
Yeah, Yo Gabba
Yo
Gabba.
Gabba Gabba is back. It's on Apple Plus now.
Is it new? New
Yeah.
episodes? Oh,
Yeah.
sick.
Yo Gabba Gabba is back. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I got my kids into that too for a
Yeah.
little bit. They're like, all right. And I remember I just ran it for the randomest reason. I was somewhere and DJ Lance Rock was there. And I was like,
Yeah.
no way. And he started waving at me. I'm like, yeah, I don't really know you, dude. I know you from TV, but I'm
Yeah.
glad you waved. Because it was really cool to see him out in his costumes like that and doing this thing. That
Yeah.
was rad. But yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. I'll have to check that out then.
Yep. It's out there. I'm almost positive it's on Apple Plus because it has it's having resurgence, and I'm almost positive it's on Apple Plus. So there you go,
I mean, dude, they gotta keep ska music going somewhere. And what
dude.
a better way to do
Somewhere,
it.
so much ska. I remember being in college and I think Taking Back Sunday did a song on that called "We All Love Our Pets," and I remember YouTubing a kids show so I could watch a Taking Back Sunday segment and being like, "This is not something I ever expected to do in my life," but here we are.
But it's cool though, because it turned
It's real
dude,
cool.
those kids got turned on to music
Yeah,
that they would not have heard. Their
yeah.
parents were like, "Oh, sick.
Yeah, oh no, do we want to watch that again? Let's watch this episode again. That's
Yeah.
cool.
That's
a good
good."
hook.
So yeah, good for them though. That's awesome.
Right? And then last thing for you is just moment for self-promotion. So do you have Instagram, anything like that? Want to follow you, your journey, all that good stuff.
My Instagram is jchase7452, where I just pretty much when I do post, it's usually art related or project related stuff. I just posted some stuff on there recently that was my journey at Famous when I first started 23 years ago. So it was
Yeah.
early 2000, the style, what was going on, the people I was hanging out with.
Cool. Yeah.
So it's pretty rad. My website is jonchasestudios.com, Jon, no H.
Nice. No H.
And that's where I have my soft goods and I do art prints and stuff on there. And it's where I am also, oddly enough, I'm starting to blog again, which is crazy.
Cool. Yeah.
In the world of, with all the generative stuff and the search bots, it's interesting I'm doing that because it's so hard to get people to see things, even on, just in general,
Yes.
it's hard.
Very much so.
So
Yes.
usually I was doing more in person, doing conventions, stuff like that to get connected with people.
Mhm.
But I had to take a step back because I'm actually releasing my own shoe. I designed a shoe because I've been designing for
Cool.
23 years and I learned how to do sunglasses and watches and denim and
Yeah.
other apparel and jackets. I've wanted to do shoes.
Yeah.
So I took a class last November from a person I've met 30 years ago who got into shoe design, worked with Circa, did Muska's shoe, is still working in the shoe design world.
Yeah. Yeah.
Taught me this stuff. My shoe's going to be landing hopefully in a couple weeks. So I'm excited about that. So I'm
Cool.
doing more things like blogging and just trying to do more in-person activations. So
Yeah.
that's what I'm doing.
Are you doing it on Zynga or LiveJournal? Which one? Are you making it full early 2000s?
No. It was so funny because
yeah.
because the Kinnison just posted a screenshot because I used to update their website for them when they were
Really?
doing tours and stuff like that, and it was the worst. You slice with Dreamweaver and then put it
Mhm.
up, the most just chaotic. I totally forgot about that, and I posted. I'm like, oh, that's right.
Yeah. This is
Just
what
a
it used to be.
different time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no, just doing a little thing, but I don't know. It's just
That's cool.
just sharing my process more and just, I don't know, just doing the thing.
Yeah.
That's it.
Nice. Sweet.
So yeah.
Thanks for hanging out with me. Thanks for talking about being a dad, creative stuff, and all the stuff that comes with it.
It was fun. Thanks for having me. And if you ever want to keep talking about it, let me know.
Cool. Yeah, I appreciate it. No, genuinely. I'll send you a message. I'll text you or I'll message you my phone number, all the good stuff. Maybe we can be real friends.
We could.
We could. Maybe.
Awesome.
Sweet. John, I really appreciate it, man. I'll talk to you next time. All right.
Thank you.
Cool. Thank you. Have a good one. Thank you so much for listening to the episode. Make sure to follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at the Imperfect Dads Podcast. And make sure to give us 5 stars wherever you listen to us. Music, editing, and production is all done by me. Make sure to tune in on Mondays and most Thursdays for new episodes. This podcast is part of the Never a Face Network. Make sure to go to neverafacednetwork.com to learn more about them.